Hello everyone and welcome to a very special version of Frontier Unlocked, or should I say, Chantel, Frontier Unwrapped, because it's a festive edition. It's actually just unlocked, but we just wanted to do something silly because it's the season to be silly. Chantel, thanks for joining me again on the sofa for this pre-record. I think we did mention it was going to be pre-recorded on the last show. If we didn't, sorry, but it is a pre-record because otherwise it'd be Christmas Day. Yeah, as much as we love doing unlocks, I don't think I could come in. I think my wife would kill me if I came in on Christmas Day to do a Frontier Unlocked. However, it is unlocked and we do have news to go through today. A lot of news. However, before we get into news in general, there is something I'd like to talk about first. Last week, we launched our first update and DLC for Planet Coaster 2. That's update number 1 and the Thrill Seekers DLC. Now, whilst update number 1 came with a plethora of fixes, tweaks and enhancements such as fireworks, glass pieces and the way our guests interact with flumes, we appreciate that by launching alongside the Thrill Seekers DLC, we caused quite a bit of frustration with our community, and that's absolutely not what we wanted to achieve. And we have heard your frustrations loud and clear, and that's why we're taking them on board, and we're here to tell you that going into 2025, our focus is going to be on free content updates for Planet Coaster 2. Whilst I can't tell you what the next free content update contains or when it will be landing, it will be early next year. I can tell you that is what our primary focus will be, and that's probably stealing some of what Rich is going to say in our interview in about 5 or 6 minutes' time. But I just want to say that ahead of the show. So, Chantel, so what else have we got coming up for the rest of the show?
Well, you stole my thunder a little bit with you mentioning interviewing Rich.
Yep.
But yeah, Rich will be sat here on the sofa talking a little bit more about update 1. And then I'm going to give you a whole recap of everything that's been happening in Planet Zoo console and all of the lovely stuff that we had for Planet Zoo for PC as well. And then sitting down with Zach.
I sit down with Zach, my mate Zach, talking about Elite Dangerous. So yeah, it's still a show. It's still unlocked. It's not, although it's unwrapped because it's festive. It's still unlocked. All right. Producer Adam was adamant we had to keep saying that, right? So just to be clear, it is unwrapped, but it's also unlocked. It's the same format. It's not going to be different. But before that, there's some housekeeping, kind of like reverse housekeeping for this one, because it's a recorded show. Chantel, do you want to tell us what the housekeeping is?
So we don't have any Twitch drops today.
Nope.
Unfortunately not. No Twitch drops. And we also don't have a prize. I mean, we could give away a bauble or two, but...
I mean, I'm not sure. They weigh an absolute ton.
They do.
They don't. But I mean, no one's going to want these. No one wants these. That's why I left it in a box and I had to use them. But yes, we don't have a prize here because it's a pre-record this show, because it's a pre-record.
And we had a mega one last month as well.
We did have a mega prize last month. Right, okay, let's crack on with the show in general. I think as we're going to go into me talking to Rich about the year for Planet Coaster Team and update number 1, we should probably roll the announcement trailer for Planet Co 2. Let's have a look at that.
Then I get it.
When I walk outside with my head in the clouds, everywhere I go, I keep singing out. It's gonna be a good day. I'm gonna sing all my blues away. Everything's alright when I got you by my side. It's gonna be a good day. Sing it! Everything's alright when I got you by my side. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day.
So there we go. That was the wonderful announcement trailer for Planet Coaster 2. And I'm joined by the equally wonderful Rich Newbold. Hi, Rich. How you doing?
Very well. Thank you very much for having me yet again.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. It's our festive show. Are you
lovely.
impressed by the giant baubles?
I am impressed by the giant baubles.
Yeah, there we go. Right.
I am definitely impressed.
But there's a way to break the ice into this one. So obviously looking at the announcement trailer, does that take you take you back to that day? Because remember we sat in the office watching it and you were watching all the chat going off. It was a teaser for 24 hours. How was it for you and the team?
It was amazing because you're incubating this game for a long period of time. You're working on it. You're really excited. You want people to know about it. And then you finally get to do it and you get to see all that amazing reception. And it was great to see everyone be really excited about what we could be working on. Like everyone was talking about, oh, is it going to be Planet Coaster 2? And it announced and it was great. And everyone in the office felt that kind of great uplift in feeling of this is something that people are
Buzz.
excited
There's a
about.
real
It's great
buzz. There's a real buzz.
Yeah.
And obviously we had a real fun campaign. We did lots of stuff for Planet Coaster.
Yeah.
Or Planet Coaster 2, I should say. I keep saying Planet Coaster like it's just... But we went to Gamescom,
Yeah.
was Germany, had a stand. That was fun.
Put the game in people's hands.
Yeah, how was that for the first time? Was it terrifying? Oh, I guess
It's
it must
always
be, right?
terrifying. Always terrifying. But it was such a good event. We had so many people come play the game, give so much praise, feedback, and we had a wonderful time there. It was really good.
It was good. And then we went to Thorpe Park, and that was... look, there was three of us. Adam was not here today, but there was three of us, and he definitely enjoyed it.
He did, yes.
I not so much. I was a little bit terrified of some of the rides.
Me too. It was scary, but again, it was a great event because we got people to play the game, and we had lots of our content creators play the game. It was great. I got to avoid going on some of the roller coasters, but yeah, it was a great day, and it's just been great throughout the campaign to show progress and to get into people's hands.
Yeah, and then obviously we launched. What are we now? How long ago?
6 weeks. I think.
6 weeks. 6 weeks now. We've launched. Lots of stuff been going on. We had the first update that came out, and obviously at the top of the show we mentioned that our focus is going to be on updates.
Yeah.
But before we move into 2025, update 1 just landed, and that's full of a lot of things. Do you want to talk through what landed in update 1?
Yeah, well, we added loading and unloading stations.
That was a big
really
request.
exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, now the coasters have that ability to have separate stations for each of those. We have fireworks.
Yes. Yeah.
The old whiz bangs.
Yeah.
It's been
Is
great.
that a technical term?
It's not a technical term. But having all those different letters, different shapes, some of the symbols, and being able to see people build those fireworks shows in the event sequencer, which has been great.
Which you also tweaked, right? You tweaked the event sequencer.
Yeah, we made it slightly easier to you build these kind of shows. We built some of the improvements with the fireworks show in mind, so you can have multiple events on the same track now. So it's fireworks, there's a lot of whiz bangs going off. Technical. So having the ability to put them all on a single track is easier for you to manage what you're trying to do and time it all out and sequence it all out. We added some new scenery pieces.
Yep.
So you've got 6 new scenery pieces for glass. So there's some with frames and without frames, different sizes. We've got custom coaster supports.
You're
I always
saying
get
right,
the wrong.
yeah, no, you're right.
Coaster custom support. No, it's custom coaster support pieces. So the game will put down coaster supports automatically for you.
Yeah.
Again, technical term, automagic.
Also magic.
Automagic. But you can overrule that and use these new scenery pieces to dress them up in a way that you think is more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Our system is smart, but it's not an artist. It's not artistic.
No,
It'll do its best, but having those scenery pieces to do that kind of stuff. And we did our first round of improvements to the flumes as well in the slides.
Yes,
So more throughput on the flumes, having multiple people on them at once.
Yep.
Some of the improvements to how they spin, especially on the inflatables as they go around some of the corners.
Yep.
Adding that more realistic take to that as well.
So lots of stuff in it. I can't wait to see what people
there's a
do
lot.
with all these tweaks, enhancements, and additions. I can't wait to see the fireworks displays we're going to see, because I know that people will be working on that straight away. And we've got some incredible creators, as we've already sort of showcased in some of our workshop wonders that's been about. But we're not stopping there. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, our focus very much now is on updates.
Yeah.
So is there anything you can tell us about what's coming in a future update?
Yeah,
Rich?
I love being here, showing exciting stuff, teasing things. So hot off the development press.
Right,
Because
okay.
hot off the press doesn't work in 2024. We don't use printing presses in the
I
same
know,
way.
right? But people, do they understand what it means? I think people understand what it means.
Hot development press, I've got a video to show about some of the improvements on the visualization of what we're doing on the raft flumes, especially. Those circular flumes.
yeah.
So what we're looking at here is a visualization of how we're going to set up the rafts to have that more dynamic range of movement, a more natural way. This is a development tool that allows us to visualize that, to kind of test our theories of how we think it can work before we then move it into the game engine itself. As you can see, it's moving up and down the flume, and it's spinning quite a lot in an exaggerated way, but that's just for us to test our theories. But this is showing how we're going to set it up so that it will deform more naturally, dynamically on those flumes. We've also made some changes to the flume shape itself, so it's not got a flat bottom.
Right,
Because of this new technique that we're going to do for the deformation, we can now adapt those flumes to be curved all the way as well. So as you can see, when we turn this on,
I mean, it's quite obvious when it's on, right? I mean, it's
you
a
can see
huge difference there.
You can see the visual difference between us having the technology and the change to the flume shape, how it would be really big improvement. And kind of this spinning is a bit exaggerated, but when we put it in game,
It'll be more natural.
Yeah.
All right, so that's quite exciting stuff. So that will be coming in a future update. Alongside lots of other bits and bobs that will be coming in
love to
future
have
updates.
a big package of new improvements across big parts of the game as well. So
So it's not just flumes and stuff. So there will be more stuff coming next year. Speaking of next year and other updates, will you come back next year on this very same sofa and talk to us about those same things?
I will happily come back. I love being here. I love talking to you guys. I love talking to you. I love just being excited about what we're doing in Planet Coaster 2 and sharing.
Amazing. Well, look, It's getting very close to Christmas now, so I wish
Yeah.
you and the whole team the very best for Christmas and New Year.
Thank you very
Hope
much.
you get some well-deserved rest, and I will see you in the new year. And I think to play us out, we'll have our launch trailer featuring the wonderful music from St Lundy.
Must be getting close, 'cause I can see the colors blue. Never seen a sky like this before. So if the world is waiting for me, then I'll go and see it all. And if it's more than ordinary, it'll be better than before. So as I ride this roller coaster, following my heart all the way around the world. Not running from the old me. I just wanna bring myself to life. I don't wanna be alone, but I just gotta get away tonight. I'm not running from the old me. I just wanna bring myself to life. I don't wanna be alone, but I just gotta get away tonight. Following my heart all the way around the world.
Amazing.
Yep.
And how was it working with St Lundy?
Really cool, actually. It was a really cool sort of activation that came about. Something I've always wanted to do is work with an artist. Actually got to meet him when we did Thorpe Park. So actually, that's a good idea. It shows you how long we have to work on certain things like ahead of time. Such a nice guy, really humble. I think actually, producer, we might have a little clip where I sat down and had a chat with him.
It's a track of mine called Following My Heart that I put out a couple of months ago and is off my debut album. And it's quite a fast-paced, upbeat song.
Yeah.
So I was really happy when you reached out because I feel like it was perfect for this kind of thing. For me, that song, when I wrote it about running away from home. And for me, the song is about an escape.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in a way as well, like in people being able to put their time into this game and build this whole new kind of world is an escape. To be able to get the word roller coaster in there was like the cherry on top.
Yeah,
and I remember thinking about it because when you're writing the songs, there's a certain amount of syllables and there's all of this, but yet again, maybe shows that it was actually such a great fit that we found each other and that you found me because I managed to get the word roller coaster in there. And for me, I just feel excited that so many people might kind of experience my song in this new way, and it will help them shape some memories to do with this game and moving forward.
Yes, that was that. You can see, like, such a nice guy, such a humble guy. Also, really tall, like really. I mean, I'm tall. He's taller than me, like really tall and talented, unlike me. Really nice guy, really sweet to work with, great voice. But also Rich and the guys, really nice to sit down with Rich one last time for this year. They are super passionate, and they are working really hard, and they are going to be focused. Like I said, they're going to be focused on updates now for the community. So, really looking forward to them coming back early next year, and talking about what they've got in store, because I've seen some of it and it's really cool. So it's really fun. But it's not just Planet Coaster. Planet Zoo, Chantel, has been busy this year.
We have so much stuff that has come out.
Yeah, and still to come.
Zoo.
Yeah, and still to come.
So, I mean, before I even started.
Yeah, when did you start? July, June?
Start of June.
Start of June. So before that, we brought Zoo to console, along with the North America and European bundle.
Yes.
And then we had another bundle, Aquatic and Twilight.
Yep.
Then I think you joined.
Yep, then I joined. And then it was the Grasslands and Africa bundle. And then September, we had the Arid and Tropical bundle. And then in December, start of December, we had the Arctic and Conservation bundle as well.
Is that it then? All done?
Well,
No.
so in those ones alone, we had 58 animals. We had over 1,350 scenery pieces and 11 new scenarios.
Huge.
So far in
So
one
far.
year. A busy
So far.
year.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of animals. It's a lot of building pieces.
Yeah.
And a lot of really cool stuff actually built on console as well. So I know obviously we've been busy all year with all the different games, but I mean I do like watching player creations and some of the stuff in Zoo. I started building a timber wolf enclosure.
Oh.
I have spent about 50 hours just making a timber wolf enclosure. That's all I've done. I haven't done anything else. You come into the park, timber wolf. It's kind of like spooky. I put all the mist and stuff. And my wife is like, are you going to move on? I was like, no, I haven't finished. I still need to do more stuff with timber wolf. But much like my park, there's still more to come. There's still more to come for us, right?
Yes. So launching on the 29th of January, so very, very soon, we have got the Australia and South America bundle. The adorable koala.
I mean, it had to be the koala, right, for Australia.
Had to be. And then the jaguar as well here.
Yes.
And this pack comes with 10 new animals. It has over 480
yeah.
scenery pieces and a new scenario as well. So that is a new pack coming very, very soon.
I wanted to say the 480 like you're doing darts. 480! But yeah, that's a lot of pieces and more animals. More animals. You can't have enough animals in
So many animals.
Yeah.
But again, this is console. We also have...
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
We also have PC. So any of our PC players also had some wonderful packs. One of them from before I started, which was...
Oh, the barnyard pack. Yeah, chickens. I didn't realise people were that mad about chickens, but they are mad about chickens. So we had in April came the barnyard pack, and then obviously after that, obviously in your time.
Yes, we had the 5-year anniversary of Planet Zoo on PC, and we had the Zookeepers pack with the adorable palace cat.
Yes,
On
yeah.
the front
Kind of
there
like
as
my
well.
spirit animal.
Love it.
Kind of like my spirit animal.
So
The energy I
grumpy
give
and
off.
cute,
It's the energy
amazing.
it's the energy I give off. Grumpy and cute.
Grumpy and cute, that's Arthur.
That's me. And that's it. Is it? Maybe stay tuned next year for our PC players for Planet Zoo. We're not quite done with you just yet.
We're not done.
So there we go. So that's Planet Zoo. Like all of our games, you know, it's a very, very long tail. Excuse the pun. Loads of content there. Loads of stuff still to come. Really, really exciting and really busy year. So perhaps we'll play out on. I do you know what we'll play it on to move on segment. We're going to play it on the launch trailer for Planet Zoo on console.
Oh. Arthur, we're now moving on to a long-awaited segment.
Yes.
I'm sure everyone can guess what we're going to talk about next. So, do you want to tell me about your year? With
My
Elite?
year for
Your
Elite
year
Dangerous.
with Elite.
Well, look, I've had several years of Elite Dangerous. This has been one of my favourite years, I'll be honest. They've all been great, and they've all had the different sort of moments, but this year in particular was really cool. We started the year really like no other year we've done, where we came out and told everyone what we were going to do. It went down really, really well. We've done 4 ships this year. We've done Power Play 2.0. We've rebalanced engineering. We've got system consolidation has been announced, although it didn't quite make it into this year. I'm really sorry. I know I said we're getting this year. We tried. We wanted to. We want to get it right, and it's coming next year. Watching the community sort of take the war to the Titans. It's honestly, there's been so many different moments this year for me as part of the community, as part of Frontier, but as a player as well. It's been great to see. Also, 10 years of Elite Dangerous. So I remember when it went into Kickstarter, I was a fan then. I did dig out a very old. I'm not going to share it, by the way, chat. There's a very, very old YouTube video where I was from when the Thargoids first arrived, and a younger Arthur was doing his best to try and work out what the Thargoids did. And I was talking about the colours and the petals and all this sort of stuff. And so to see all this stuff come sort of to fruition this year is really, really cool. And to see the team and how hard they've worked, and to see all their hard work pay off, for me has been like one of the highlights. And see how hard someone like Zach has worked, and Piers has worked, and Gautier works, and Chris works, and Curtis works, and Max works, and Hemant's works, and the whole team.
Yeah.
And I'm missing so many people off here, and I apologise, like Simon Brewer and all the usual suspects that are there. To see them have their work sort of to be recognised by the community means that it's a huge amount to them, and it means a lot to me to see it. So yeah, and speaking of the team, I had a chance to sit down with Zach and talk about Elite Dangerous. I had some questions about system colonisation. I made a little chat about his year in Elite Dangerous and maybe what's happening next year. Zach, welcome to our festive
Thank
set.
you. Looks
Spared
very
no
nice.
expense here. We've put out baubles.
Yeah.
Some tinsel, and apparently this is Christmas lighting. Producer Adam assures me it's Christmas
Yeah,
lighting.
it almost
so.
looks like a red alert, but
It
we'll
does.
take
It does. Well, look. Hey, look. It's the best we could do. All right. Thanks a lot for coming in. We've got some questions to go through about system colonisation. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you actually about the year, because it's been a pretty monumental year for Elite Dangerous. How's it been for you?
Yeah, I mean, really special. I think as you guys know, it's the 10th anniversary of Elite, and it feels like the 10th year of Elite has been. Elite
Mega.
Dangerous, sorry, has been mega. Yeah, there's been so much, compared to where we were last year and coming into this year. We've had a lot of people always say, where are the new ships? That's one thing we've had for quite a long time.
Well,
I know
they're
that
here.
me and you have felt that. Yeah, they're here, and we've just had so much, so it's been great.
Yeah, it's been nice to actually go out and deliver. I know we said like 2 features, and obviously we've missed for one. But it's a pretty big feature, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really energising, I think, for not just us, but I think for the development team as well.
100%.
To drop 4 new ships coming in, obviously starting with the Python Mark II, then we had the Taipei, and then the Mandalay, and obviously now the Cobra Mark V's out.
Yeah.
And just to see players engage with it and come back to Elite and engage with the storyline, I guess for me, I think. I do love good story. So I think the Titan stuff for me has been huge this year. I think watching the players take the Titans down one at a time, and I think probably by the time this goes out, I would be amazed if they haven't won the war by then.
Yeah.
I'd be amazed. If you haven't,
What's
we're all
going
doomed. We're all doomed.
Yeah.
But watching them go down, I actually remember watching, and I think I did a piece of camera about the 10 years for Elite, about my favourite moments, of which there's been lots, but I do think watching that first Titan Tyrannus
Yeah, it was crazy.
explode and watching players just not know what's going to happen in game.
Yeah.
I think that for me was the...
That was it, yeah, because I think a lot of players, obviously we had the Azimuth stuff, where we were kind of somewhat finding our feet again with story and how we
we'll play around.
Yeah, and then I think we really took it to the next level this year, and I think we had the in-game stuff with the Titan Explosion, then more recently we've had those awesome cinematics with the Titan arriving in Seoul.
Yeah, really fun. It's been really, really fun. It's really fun to see the players engage with it all. So yeah, it's been a great year for us. We've really enjoyed it, and actually, it's been fueled really, really by the community. Like to see the engagement has been huge, and it's cliche. I don't know, and I don't really care, but like I don't care saying it when I mean that. It's like it absolutely fuels us. Like you have no idea. Like when you're down, we're down. When you're up, we're up. Right. So. Seeing you have such a great time this year has meant the world to us. So it's been good. And then obviously we've got another year to come to, which we'll come to in a little while. But I guess the second feature of this year was going to be, I think it was producer Adam fell off his chair. Are you all right, Adam?
He's alive.
He's alive, chat. It's okay, it's fine. We had, obviously, Power Play 2.0 came out.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've been tweaks and balance. Oh, we're remiss to mention engineer rebalance.
Of course, yeah.
SEO.
Yeah.
Loads of stuff. But Power Play 2.0 has come out. We've had a few tweaks and balances to go into that. I think because it's such a big system, it's great to see players engage with that. And actually, I think maybe for some new players, give them a bit of agency to go into the game and be like, oh, I know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I've pledged to Power.
You got those missions. So like, if you're starting out in Elite Dangerous, you can head to Power Play.
Please do the missions.
Make sure you do those initial missions so that you can get some actual progress towards your Power.
Yeah.
But it is, you're right. It's a really great starting point for yourself. Or if you're coming back to Elite after a while.
Yeah.
Get involved.
Yeah, get back involved. And obviously we've got system colonisation. So, and obviously we announced that, I want to say it was the last show. Was it show before last? It was show before last, 2 shows ago.
Yeah.
This is, because this is a pre-record, obviously, because this would be Christmas Day and we're not doing, we love you, but not Christmas Day love you. So I'm not sure what day this is going out, producer Adam will tell me at some point. So we've got some questions that come in. There's been a ton of questions, as I'm sure. What we're going to try and do is wrestle through a few, not all, of the questions that have been like the most asked, I guess.
Yeah, and there's some questions that now's not necessarily the right time to answer, but yeah, we've gone through and answered what we can.
All right, so should we start with system conversation questions?
Yep.
We'll take from the top and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So Zach, question number, feels like a game show.
Yeah.
The question number 1, what are the costs of colonisation and setting up a colony ship?
So, as Piers said when he was on the show, the numbers are very much still in flux. We're still at that point where we can tweak the numbers to get where we want. And obviously, as we said on the last show, or the show before, we are going to initially launch this into beta. So again, that's so we can,
have a look at the numbers
and see what we think. But in terms of costs for colonisation, so there is an initial credit cost to claiming a system. This is what sends the colony ship there. So it's not going to be a seriously large amount of credits. So I know we've seen people sort of talk about, since we announced it, like, is this way higher than getting a fleet carrier? And it's not. This is very much aimed at, you're not a new player, but you're a player that's put some time into Elite and you've got a bit of a kitty, right?
A bit of cash.
Yeah. So don't expect this to be crazy fleet carrier numbers to get that initial claim. And then after that, you have 4 weeks to finish building your initial starport using commodities.
And I think that's the key part, right? That it's the commodities part. So the money's that you get started, but actually this is effort, right? This is a huge undertaking, right? This is not like, I know a fleet carrier is a big deal, but like this is a huge. You're building, you're colonising a system, right? So,
yeah, exactly. It takes you have to transport those materials that are used rather than the credit sync. It's getting those materials together.
Yeah, cool. All right, next question. Will there be any kind of upkeep? Because we get asked this a lot. Well, fleet carriers is an upkeep. Is there going to be an upkeep if you're the system architect for your system?
There is not. There is no upkeep cost, so no, you will not be penalised for being a system architect.
Hooray! So we can all just we can be overlords on our own system.
Just enjoy being a system architect.
Cool. What systems will be in place for a colonised system if the architect goes inactive for a period of time?
Well, nothing really. As I think Piers mentioned it on the last show, really, once you've created a system as a system architect, that system will act like any other system within the game.
Yep.
So if that system architect, just works and places one starport down, that's what the system is.
Yep.
If they progress from that, great. But either way, it's just going to act like any other system that you would find within.
And that makes sense, right? Because the system architect initially goes in there and initially colonises that system. Where that system architect moves on, just like in reality, they're still the original architects of that system's colonisation. What happens after that, the BGS and that sort of stuff, that can all be affected by players.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're right. You're going to have, hopefully we'll have a bunch of commanders that do maybe want to daisy chain out, and you'll see maybe you come across a system and it's got one starport and you see it's been done by this commander, and then you jump somewhere else and you see one starport by the same commander and you're like, well, where does this go? Yeah. And you can kind of follow that trail. And you're like, and then eventually maybe you get to this system where they've actually decided to stay. This is their putting their flag in the ground. You get that
right?
you almost feel that journey that they went on to get to that system.
But you know what? I know we're doing questions, but tangentially, what I really like about that is like across that spine that commander or group of commanders are doing, you could branch off at any point because that system will have a contact in there for you to be able to buy that, so you can move off. But obviously, there's the logistics we've talked about in the previous show. It's not as easy as just daisy chaining all the way out because you need the materials to actually build your systems. All right. So will there be a fair system in place for purchasing claims for popular systems?
So claiming a system is very much first come, first serve. So we are expecting it to be a really exciting, like gold rush kind of scenario.
Yeah.
When colonization first arrives, it's going to be fun to see which commanders come out on top. That said, whilst players can be the architects of as many systems as they want to be, a player can only be in like one instance of the initial claiming process at a time.
So you can't lay claim to 20
You can't just
systems.
go out and claim 100 systems at a time.
Yeah.
You can only be in that initial process for one system at a time. And if you fail to claim a system twice, you're going to be locked out for a number of days.
Yeah.
So yes, it is going to be first come, first serve. We kind of want that to be the case. We want to have that sort of similar feeling of, everyone is going racing to get where they want to be. But it's fair in the case of one player can't just lay claim to all land. They've got to say, okay, I want this system, and then spread from there.
And I think Piers touched on it in the last show, where there are time limits in this, and at the two initial stages, right? The claiming and then obviously building the main
100%.
station, and that's because it is such a serious undertaking, right? Like, we keep saying this, like this is the big deal, right? You're going to colonize the system. It's there forever. You are literally putting your stamp on the galaxy. So you can't claim more than one system at a time, and you have to follow through your claim. If you fail to follow through your claim, it becomes open to everybody else again.
Yep.
So there we go. Okay. How will players be able to colonize using a specific faction if there are no zero population systems within the colonization radius of systems containing that faction? Well, that is a question, Zach.
That is a mouthful, yeah. So
It
I
is a
think
mouthful.
this one has come off the back of obviously us talking about that radius that exists for colonization. That again, numbers still to be decided.
Yep.
But in this case, I think in this scenario, you would likely want to engage with the BGS to make sure that your faction that you do want to spread has control of a station within a system that they can colonize from. So yes, if your faction does not have a colonizable system within that initial bubble, you're just going to have to engage with the BGS like you would traditionally and move your faction
into it,
gain control somewhere else, and then from there you would be able to engage with colonization.
And will there be a limit to how many systems a player can be actively an architect for?
No, as I mentioned previously, you can only be claiming one system at a time, but you are able to be the architect for as many systems as you like, whether that's 1 or 100 or 1,000, or maybe we get just one commander who plays with colonization and they just take over the entire galaxy. It's possible.
Are you talking about some of the Palpatine complex? I mean,
Yes.
who knows anyone like that?
Yes.
Who could that be? Just takes a swaths of the galaxy.
Yeah.
But it's possible, right? If you have the time and you have the effort and you want to work together,
you can
absolutely do that.
Yeah.
I think we covered this, but will the BGS rules apply to colonized systems?
Yeah, so player colonized systems will basically act the same as all other systems within Elite. So whatever you're used to right now within Elite Dangerous and a system with the BGS, you can expect the colonized systems to replicate that.
Cool. All right. Can architects, this is a nefarious question, but can architects permit lock systems or decide trade routes?
No. So all other players will be able to sort of freely engage with player colonized systems. We don't want to be locking systems out from people. You can affect the trade in a system based on that kind of economy that you create, like Piers said.
You can create
you have a lot of choice there. It's the kind of sort of economy you want to put together. So there's no direct tool per se to create a trade route, which wouldn't really work anyway. But you can change that landscape of trade within that area of space to suit your needs, really. That's the whole point of colonization, is to suit your needs.
I'm actually excited to see how the different economies build up, because I think we were talking in the previous stream about the micro bubbles. I think we're going to see, like where these daisy chains go out to a certain point and then realise we're too far away from the bubble to actively get resources. So we need to colonise this area here. It'll be a micro bubble, and that will be determined by whatever economies people are putting in there and resources, and then they'll move on.
And I think that's what we've had. Obviously, the past couple of years, we've had a lot of great content around the Fargoids and a lot of stuff for our anti-Xeno players, our combat players, and fairly we've had quite a few people who are trade players and our exploration players saying, "Oh, can we get
something?
Can we get something?" And this is kind of for you. Like obviously, there's plenty for a combat player to engage with, but exploration player, you're going to be going out, like you said, deciding where those mini bubbles are, and then the trade players, that could be your new hub, right? There's so much profit to be made in those areas.
When we talk about trade, we're going to see that happen, and that's the thing we're most excited about system colonizations. We generally don't know what players are going to do, right?
idea.
We don't. Yeah. This is the galaxy is going to be for you. So you're asking us questions. We're like, it's
try.
whatever you want, really. Like you can do what you want with the galaxy. That's why we're kind of like we're excited. We're also a little bit terrified. Not going to lie, tiny bit terrified because we don't know what happens until until it happens, right? Okay, so I guess on the back of that, what are the benefits for a system for a player for a system colonisation?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of similar depending on whether you're a solo commander or a group of commanders. You can colonize a system either way. Like there will always be one sort of like system architect, but if you're a group of players, great, you can work together. If you're a solo player, great.
So you can do it on your own.
Yeah,
If you want to be
absolutely.
on your own,
yeah. It might be a bit more effort because you got to gather the materials yourself, but you absolutely can. And I think the main benefit really is that you can set that system up to get what you want from it. So sort of depending on your choices, that can affect the types of missions that you'll find in that system. You can set up markets to suit your trade needs and so on. So if all the systems around are industry markets, you could create an extraction-based market, and then you've got a really great trade route there that you've made for yourself to take advantage of. So it's that kind of like almost out-of-the-box thinking of how can I engage with the Elite Dangerous systems that I know so well to create this new star system that works perfectly for what I want to do within the game.
Yeah. So yeah, again, there's a lot here that it's hard to really articulate, but it will be down to what the players do, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, which is exactly what we want. All right. So will colonisation be possible from anywhere that has a human station?
No. So yes and no. So as of right now, you must start from the bubble.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to start this off. I think Piers mentioned the same. So when system colonisation launches, you'll only be able to begin the process from the bubble. However, from that point onwards, you'll be able to colonise, yes, anywhere that has a human station within radius. So let's say we do go with that 10 light year radius for system colonisation. At the start, you'll be able to go 10 light years from the bubble. And then once they've colonised that system, you can go 10 light years from there. And so eventually, yes, you can go wherever you want, but we'll be starting it in the bubble.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. If you start in another system, how soon after do you lose your system architect role in the first system?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, like we said, you can be the system architect many times you like. That tag isn't going to go anywhere. That's your system to control. You might, like we've talked about, maybe you're an explorer. You've daisy chained out to a system, and then maybe you want to come back at some point and say, oh, actually, I probably want to edit. I'll add more to this because I've found that.
I mean, you could, right?
Lacking.
If you've done that, you could become. I'm not a megalomaniac, but you could daisy chain out and then build an empire all the way back.
Yeah,
right? If
yes,
you really wanted to.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you really wanted to. Okay, I think this kind of answers the next question. Will the systems display who the system architect is, or will it be left anonymous?
It will, in fact, display who the system architect is. So you'll find that in the Galaxy and system map. It will display the name of the system architect, as well as a few other things that will be useful. I think we'll talk about in a moment.
Okay, next question. Will there be any opportunity to expand infrastructure in currently established systems?
No. So as I think Piers has said again, player colonisation is strictly for those currently uninhabited systems. That's the whole point of expanding the bubble and spreading humanity.
Cool. Talking about spreading the spread of humanity, will there be any in-game tools to find good systems to colonise and to choose where colonisation options are placed?
Yeah, so the map UI will give you some of that information. So the architect view in a system you've explored will give you some indication of what that system could look like when colonised. So you basically, what you want to do, I guess the flow will be you want to head to a system, make sure you've done the exploration part of that, and then you'll get all this information, say, okay, this looks like a good system to either build my home base on, or maybe it's one of those daisy chains.
Yeah.
And you can make that gather that information before you make your choice.
Yep, okay. Are there any penalties or just general downsides to having multiple economies in a system or investing too heavily in one economy?
Not necessarily. I mean, having multiple economies means that they'll even out, so you'll get a good spread of options for yourself, but you won't have that golden goose market, so to speak, where that excels at one thing. So again, with everything with colonisation, it's really up to you and how you want to benefit from that system.
Yeah. Next question. I think this has already been answered, but will it be possible to blockade or attack colonised systems during the construction or after completion?
No. So colonisation is very much not a PvP feature. Yeah. It is once you are the system architect, that's your system. Yeah. You don't need to worry about it being detonated at some point.
Cool. All right, Zach, thank you very much. Well, that's a lot of questions there. It's not all the questions, it's a lot of questions, and there's probably loads more. As I said, the colonisation feature is going into beta. Just to be clear on what the beta means is we're putting the feature into the game. All players will be able to engage with it. What you do will be final. So if you colonize systems during the beta, they'll be yours. You'll be able to keep them. We're not taking away from you. But what we want players to understand is that we'll be taking that time to measure, to make sure things work correctly.
Yep.
Fundamentally, to make sure that the tools that players need are operating as as should be intended. It will give us a chance to measure what players are actually doing, because this is such a fundamental change that we really do need to get a grasp on how players are going to interact with it. But it's going to be everyone's going to go and do their own thing, or players are going to work in groups, and we're trying to find that balance. So hence the reason we're saying it's going to be in beta. We want to get it right, but we don't necessarily get it right first time. So we're going to give it some time.
Yeah, it's a big, it's a mammoth task.
It's huge. And just to go back to what we said about this year, and just to give some extra love to our development team, I sometimes forget that they actually simulated a 1-to-1 galactic scale war. And now we're doing power play, and now we're doing system colonization in a 1-to-1 scale in the Milky Way galaxy. I genuinely, my mind, when I sit down and talk to some of the team, I'm just like, you are talking a different language. They're saying words to me, I just a bit out of was it The Hangover, where just numbers appear. I'm just like, I have no idea what you're saying. But
and we're in year 11 of the game. Yeah,
we're about going to year 11. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. So yeah, cool. All right. So there's a lot of stuff going on there with system colonization. Zach, we're coming to the end of the show. We've talked about how good this year's been.
Yep.
Obviously, the question we always get asked, and it's really nice to be asked, is what comes next? What can we expect to see from Elite Dangerous next year? Anything you can tell us?
Well, I think we kicked off this year in January, February. The first Unlocked.
I honestly can't remember. It was the first Unlocked.
The first Unlocked show we ever did. We kicked it off. We talked about what was coming to Elite Dangerous this year. That went down super well. So why don't we do the same again next year?
I think that's a great idea. I think that's the best idea that you've had.
Perfect.
It's not. You've had loads of good ideas. All right, look, Zach, thanks a lot. We all come back then, I guess.
Yeah.
For our first Unlocked.
See you in the first Unlocked, yeah.
And we will tell you all about Elite Dangerous for 2025. Feels so good to say that, right?
Yep,
Feels so good to say. Stay tuned. It's going to be exciting. Another exciting year for Elite Dangerous.
Oh yeah.
Got a lot of stuff on the board already for you.
Yep.
Zach, thanks a lot, man.
No worries.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
You too, man.
Detonation sequence initiated.
So there we go. There was all the questions about system colonization. I say all, some of the questions about system colonization. There'll be more with the wonderful Zach, who's worked really, really hard on Elite this year, as the whole team have. As he mentioned, we'll be back on the next show talk about what's coming for Elite in 2025 and the first Unlocked of next year. So we're going to very much set our stall like we did this year. So look forward to that at the start of next year.
Yes.
So I guess, almost forgot, Chantel. There's a 10-year documentary on Elite Dangerous. It's on our YouTube channel, so check that out. We all had a little moment to talk about some of our thoughts and feelings about Elite Dangerous. So if you haven't seen it, it's actually a really sweet piece. Go and check it out. It's on YouTube. I'm sure there'll be a thing rolling at the minute as I'm talking about this. Adam will do some sort of magic. But there we go. Right, that kind of wraps us up, to be fair, Chantel. It's been an emotional sort of year. We've done a lot of shows. Thank you so much, first and foremost, to you for joining me on the sofa for so many shows. You've been outstanding. It's been great to have you come along and just to work with someone. It's nice. I did a few shows on my own. I felt very lonely, but it's nice you stepped in and you've done a great job. So thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing me on. Thank you to everyone for being so welcoming.
Well, we have got a wonderful community.
We do.
Also, huge thanks to our community.
Yes.
Thank you for watching us, for tuning in every month and month, for coming back. Thank you so much to our mods.
Yes. Thank you all for being there and helping out and doing what you can. We Are eternally grateful.
Yeah, and we can't do it without you. Thanks to all of our wonderful devs who have come on, been interviewed, provided behind-the-scenes footage.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for
we
the
couldn't
dev
do it
team.
without them. So thanks to all the wonderful devs that have been on our show and all the devs that work behind the scenes that you don't see. They get us stuff right because there's a lot of people, a lot goes into the show. And finally, but by no means last but not least, thank you so much to producer Adam. The show doesn't exist without producer Adam. He does a huge amount of work, not just running this show, correlating all the assets, putting them all together, playing them, doing my makeup, doing my hair. He spends a lot of time on this, but honestly, the show does not exist without producer Adam. You never will see him. He will always remain a mystery. He's the mystery man, but he's the keystone to this. He does exist. So thank you so much, producer Adam. You might have something to remind me of Christmas Day, right?
I do. So for our lovely community members who are big fans of Planet Coaster, I've worked with a couple of wonderful people in the community to make a Winter Wonderland park. So I'm going to be sharing the link. So if you fancy having a little walkabout on Christmas Day, let's say you got Planet Coaster in the sale.
Yep.
You can go and have a little walk around and enjoy a little Winter Wonderland experience.
Very keen to see what you guys have all put together.
Yeah, honestly,
I'm sure it'll be
some
great.
of the stuff in there, absolutely incredible. I don't think I could have ever come up with most of the stuff. So I'm so thankful, and also thankful to Mr. Rich Hudson, who's helped us with some of the streams.
Guy's a genius.
Planet Coaster God.
Yeah. We also share the same barber, which is useful.
Very
it's really
helpful.
Good.
But he helped to curate the park, so we're
it's gonna
very
be good
grateful
then.
for that. It's going to be good.
All right, that's coming up. So remember, everyone, I think our winter sale is on. Actually, you just touched on it. So a lot of our games are in the sale at the moment. So if you do want to pick up a late or early Christmas present, you can do it right now. I think it's 20% off in some of our titles. So go check it out. Have a look. There's some bargains and there's some great games in there. That wraps us up for 2024. We will be back in 2025. Dates to be confirmed. So keep an eye on our social media channels. We need to get ourselves organised. We need to let all the eggnog get out of our systems, all the mince pies be firmly away before we come back. But it's been a genuine pleasure speaking to all of you throughout the year, joining us in every show. We will see you. It sounds weird saying this. We'll see you next year, chat. Big love.
2025.
Mwah.